What's up, man? How's your week going?
It is going pretty darn good. I actually, I'm feeling good. Last couple of weeks, I was struggling to get out of bed, and past 2 days, I done got up at 4:45, got my run in,
Mm.
just 3 miles, nothing crazy, but yeah, just trying to get back into a flow with my fitness. What about you? What about you? How are you? How's your early?
Yeah, what's funny is I don't know if it's the weather, but I'm a little slow out the block, but had a pretty good weekend. My parents came to town and we hung out,
Oh,
and I actually got her to join us on a family walk. So
good.
so yeah, my mom came out with us, and it was just cool. You know, we kind of spent some time on the weekend together as a family because my daughter, she had her drama play. She was doing the Addams Family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that went off really well. It was nice to see her in her element. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it might be the weather because it's kind of cold. It was rainy the other day, and it's kind of slow. Like, don't want to do nothing, but I'm kind of proud because, man, guess what? My son, he last night after dinner, he was like, "Dad, I'm like," he pretty much said, "I'm gonna like just kind of paraphrase," but he's like, "I'm starting to see gains, Dad. So like, let's go to the gym after dinner."
Ooh.
Mind you, he's 11, right? And so I had my little I had my old fashioned, drank that, and he hit me with like, "Let's get it in," and I couldn't tell him no.
You can't. I mean,
So I was like,
you want to hear.
I'm like, "Man, I'm so proud of you right now. Let's go." And I was like already relaxed. I had my shoes off and everything. So I got it in with him. We went down for like 30 minutes to the gym, you know, cause the gym is like in our complex, and, you know, got on the elliptical, did a few things, and, you know, just kind of got it in real intense for 30 minutes. And he was like, "Can we come back tomorrow?" I said, "Yes, we coming back tomorrow." Like, he was with it. And I'm so proud of him because I wasn't. I was off my game.
No, but off your game, not off your game, but that don't even matter. It's a win. You know, it's such a win for you even to just, I mean, as a dad, for you to hear that from your boy, first of all, you know, that's going to make you lock in regardless, of course. I know when he said that, you lit up, you know.
Yeah.
You wasn't even really, you might have been relaxed, but when he said that, you know, it struck a nerve in you because that's just a moment for a dad that you can't get back.
Yeah. It was both.
Like,
It was both. Like, I was proud of him and proud of the work we put in to get him to be that aware and want to accomplish a goal. But then I was like, look at you, bro. Had he not said that, you would have just sat here and did nothing. So I was kind of like laughing at myself, like, "Ooh, that, like your son gave you a wake up call. That's good. Now we taking care of each other."
and that's good you see it like that, but you know, I gotta say from the other side, what did your day look like? Did you already have a productive day? I mean, were you go on a walk with your dog? I know that. So I mean, did you really? You know, I mean,
I didn't get it in. Like,
yourself.
if I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get it in. Like, I was you know, it was an easy day. Yeah, I did my little thing with my dog, but you know, that's not all of it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, coming off the weekend, we did a lot of indulging and whatever. So, not that I'm mad at that, because, like, you know, I kind of track those sorts of things. But I just wasn't. I should be getting it in on a Monday. That's the plan. And just because it was a really long Monday. Like, there's a lot of other shit going on. You know what I mean? Just trying to grow my business. And honestly, a little frustrated about that. You know, I'm kind of in that scenario where I'm putting forth a certain amount of effort, trying some things that I haven't done before, and it hasn't yet turned into gains. So, you know, being an entrepreneur, that's frustrating sometimes because you're not seeing dollars roll in, you're not seeing more work roll in, those sorts of things. So, you know, I was probably a little stressed at the end of my day, you know, kind of nonstop going, didn't have a moment to breathe. And then my son, and I was ready to lay it down, just kind of wind down. Cause it was after dinner in my house, everyone kind of, if it's not the weekend, we kind of all disperse to do whatever we gonna do and then get ready for our next day. So I was looking forward to my alone time and just relaxing and be like, okay, I can turn it off. And that's when I should be getting my work in, because that's when I usually do. But I just didn't have the energy for it. Mentally, I didn't have the energy for it. My body was fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like that energized me. So I was appreciative of it. But it's one of those things where, I don't know, bro. I just was reminded that the things that I try to encourage my family about, the things I'm trying to encourage myself about, that when I could be down, it came back for me.
And bro, that's what you set out to accomplish from the jump anyway. So I think it's just beautiful that it came back to you in that form, in the form of, like you said in episode 1, you've been getting it in with him. Y'all been talking, you've been not making him, but suggesting that he goes out and exercise every since, he been with you. So it coming back in that form and helping you, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? That's beautiful. And so it even, like you said, and I'm the same way. I told you, man, I see somebody on the internet working out that I know, and I ain't do nothing that day. Oh, I'm like, I got to get some push-ups in or something. So, man, that's dope. Yeah, you got to love that. That's good. It helped you, It was just a little checkpoint for you.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. It's just a little checkpoint.
That's how I took it. I was like, man, kind of crazy, but those are gifts. I look at those as gifts.
Bro, it's blessed. Many blessings of having a child. Not saying that nothing's wrong with not having a kid, but sometimes you get a chance to look at yourself in a mirror from a different perspective. Sometimes you think one way and your kids can make you think another way. Because at the end of the day, like you said, we all human.
Yeah.
So having your kid there to kind of ground you, and make you have some self-reflection is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful, man. Especially your son telling you he want to work out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't that bad. I'm saying it wasn't coming from a negative, you go through so many different conversations with your kids, growing up, they change throughout life. But, this is a positive, this is a health and a mental and just awareness of who you are type of, reminder. So yeah, heck yeah, man. Golly. Mm-hmm. I can't hate on that. I'm just trying to stay in it. I think more so for me, thank God for my Instagram feed. It's all kicking me back positive reinforcement for me to go do something good. I follow all the motivational pages. So I get like a lot of Kobe quote. I get like a lot of motivational speakers that pop up.
I have you to thank for that, to be honest. What? Like, I don't think I had, okay. So since I started the Raising the Bar podcast Instagram, it's like getting a fresh start, right? Because it's a fresh page. And so we follow very few people. Mm-hmm. And so my feed is just those few things. So I went into that motivational thing because of you.
Oh, bro.
And so I'm seeing a lot of that, rather being inundated by a lot of women in bikinis all the time. And, just random things about like rap battles and, pop culture or just things that I'm like, you ever scroll and you go, how did I get here? I'm seeing things that's not even, but like I'm paying attention to it.
Yep.
So I'm not seeing that because I've kind of minimized my time on my own personal Instagram feed. So, and I just kind of work on the business of the podcast. Just kind of, if I see something, and every time I share something, it's because it means something to me and I hope somebody else can grab something from it. Man, so my energy has kind of changed just beyond that, but not even to ramble on, something. So I have a new development actually over the last couple of days. So Jen and I have decided to really kind of hone in on our time on our phones. Just for us. Mm-hmm. And because we notice we both have the habit of after we get up, and I told you what I do in the morning, I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mm-hmm. But what I was doing is I would take my phone with me to the bathroom. And usually I'm looking for something to just entertain myself with. So I'm on YouTube looking for a video. So I'm not even getting into all the things of the world. So I thought that's self-justification, right?
Ooh.
Now I told Jen, I said, why am I actually doing that? I asked her, why am I doing what? And then I said, hey, I can't figure out why I'm doing that. Why are you doing that? Because you do that too. I get up, the same routine happens. I get up, I go to the bathroom, take my phone with me. I'm in there. I handle my business. I come back out. She grabs her phone. She goes in there. Same thing. Why do we do that? And she was like, I don't know. It's just kind of a comfortable thing. And I was like, do we need that? And we just kind of had a conversation about what we were doing and why. Right. And I told her exactly what I was doing. I go on YouTube and I'm looking for something to entertain me a little bit. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to not do that anymore. I'm not going to pick up my phone until I have a reason to actually pick up my phone. So I left it right there on the nightstand. I go in there, I handle my business. And day one was actually kind of hard. But for whatever reason, I felt some sort of relief. Like I didn't feel so, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't feel so high strung. I noticed and I was like, oh, why am I like just still kind of I'm not in go mode. Wow. I'm like calm still. So now we're on day 3 of this. So this morning I get up. I didn't even want my phone.
Ooh.
I was at peace. I did what I needed to do. I got up, went to the bathroom, washed my face, did whatever, came back out, made my son some breakfast. He was up. He was getting his, whatever he needed to do in. And then, he left and I didn't pick up my phone till about minutes to 7 because he walks out the house at 6:50. Right. So he calls me at 7:03 and he goes, Dad, the school bus isn't here. And that was when I picked up my phone and I was like, oh, we had that conversation. It worked out. I put my phone back down and I still didn't want my phone. And so I didn't actually check my phone until then Jen reminded me of something that we needed to do today and I had to look it up. That's when I went into my phone. So it was like already 7:15. And I actually did not want my phone. So I told her right before she left the house, I was like, hey, this is what time I picked up my phone and I still feel really calm and I don't have anxiety issues, but I noticed when I pick up my phone right away, I'm already in, oh, you got to make breakfast. Oh, you got to do this. You got to do that. Because I think I noticed that I'm paying too much attention to the phone. I'm going slower. So because I was mindful about my own self, I was way more relaxed. And even right now, like I'm so in a chill mode right now. I'm not high strung right now. It's kind of interesting. So I think I'm gonna keep doing it.
And bro, I gotta say that I deleted. I don't know if I told you this, but first of all, that's dope what you're doing. I encourage you to keep doing it.
It's like a little experiment.
No, don't experiment with it. Make it a lifestyle because you don't need it in your face that early. It starts worry. It starts doubt. It starts not critical thinking, not even critical thinking. It just starts your brain thinking about things that you just need time to process and think through. Okay, you start rushing and then you don't think through anything. That is what I truly think about the phone being in your face immediately.
Right. Well, you take those first moments and you're not even focusing on yourself. You're focusing outward already. How weird.
So, it's insane. So here's what I had did 4 years ago. I think 2019. In 2019, right after Thanksgiving, I was getting my master's for biology, and I had took a course, and the professor said something about screen time, and she was like, you can go on your, you guys say you don't have time to study. You say you're so busy. But if you go onto your phone and you look at how much time you spend on your app a day, that's the time you could be studying for my class. And just that professor was just getting a message out, letting us know that, there was time. But I went into my Instagram, my Snapchat, and my YouTube. And on those 3 apps combined, I was spending 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Those 3 apps combined. And so it was kind of like a shock because I was one of the kids, like, I don't have time. Like, I'm a student athlete. I have a kid, you know what I mean? Woe is me. Like, the world, like, you giving us all this to study and I can't fit into my schedule. And really, bruh, so after that, I deleted Instagram and Snapchat for can't delete YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. I mean, YouTube University. I be needing YouTube, but I limited how much I was even on YouTube. I deleted my social media for 3 years. I had just got it back like last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got my social media. That's when I started reaching new roots. Reaching new roots brought me back because I felt comfortable in myself again. I felt comfortable. I felt like I needed to get my voice out, and as you know, I'm highly motivated. But bruh, when I came back to social media, I view it differently now, bruh. Like I view how I use, like you were just talking about, seeing a bunch of mess. Like when you were talking about motivation, when you were saying you go down the hole and you don't know how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, I'm able to decipher like this content ain't got nothing to do with what I'm trying to accomplish or what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I see it better. And I will say this, I'm even worse. You got to be careful too, because I feel like me and you are similar in the fact that once we realize we benefit mentally, emotionally, and spiritually from something, we go even harder for that. And what I'm saying, it's a fine line. So I cannot pick up my phone until 10 a.m. So I can get up at 5 and I won't pick up my phone until 10. But I can't do that because, first of all, I have a wife who I have to make sure is okay. Second of all, I work at 2 jobs and I need to make sure that somebody hasn't hit me up, text me, you know what I mean?
Right.
If I'm flowing throughout my day, I'll be with my daughter. If I already worked out, I can start studying for medical school and I won't even touch my phone. So what I'm saying is, I just want to tell you, like, there is a middle ground. You know what I mean? You handle your business, but I'm telling you, the cell phone is not a priority for me anymore. That's for sure. And my wife will tell you that too. She always say, you never have your phone on you. You never pick up the phone. It's like, I'm married, first of all. So anybody that's talking to me is either you about our podcast, my family, or my wife.
Right.
It ain't nobody, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody.
The funny thing, because of the nature of my jobs, like literally since, I would go back to my early 20s, when I was working at Pepsi. I was in a sort of a position of power. I was always responsible for things, and it always glued me to a phone. It used to be Nextels because, people needed to reach me because if my boss was not available, I needed to be available, or my boss needed me. So I just always had it with me. And then, you move on down the line, just all the several jobs I've had to answer to somebody as my own personal businessman. Sometimes people reach out to me and they go, I need this thing and I need it like in the next 2 hours. So if I don't answer, I lose money. So I got really good at, even in my personal life, somebody texts me, they're like, dang, did you already have your phone in your hand? I kind of probably already did. Mm-hmm. Like I text back so quick, but I remember, like I have been around long enough, and the thing is, I probably shouldn't even phrase it that way because technology just moves so fast now. It's only been a little over 20 years that technology has been the way it is.
Bro, 20 years ago, the Razor had just came out, bro. The Motorola, bro. The flip phone 20 years ago was a thing. Like it was a thing. Like everybody had a flip phone. I don't understand what happened in the past 20 years that just made it go into like the iPhone, everybody got the Samsung Galaxy. I really don't know, bro. I don't know. I guess it's because I was living in it. We lived in it.
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. So like when I was coming up, there was none of that. Like if your friends didn't catch you when you were at home, you just wasn't at home. And they have to call back some other time. And, you know, like it was when someone demanded your time via, you know, they wanted to talk to you on the phone or whatever, like you were sacrificing something, right? Like, hey, you want me to come outside at 5:00? Guess what? My favorite TV show is on. Like, can we do 5:30? Or you that important to me that I'm going to go ahead and miss that. And I don't know when I'm going to see it again because there's no Netflix, there's no internet, there's no nothing.
You booked up with the Thundercat.
Yeah, whatever it is, right? Like, I mean, it was a crazy time, but I think it showed us balance. I think it in its own way, it made you realize how valuable time was, and now everything's at our fingertips.
Bro,
so what I see, even what we do now, like we try to do things at the same time. So don't you notice sometimes you talk to somebody and they scrolling through their phone at the same time, or maybe you're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Like you think you're multitasking, but you're not actually even giving enough energy to one thing. You're just split focus. And then we worry about everything. And you wonder where that comes from.
Yeah, man, we were really me and my wife were just sitting in the garage, and me and her have been talking about, you know, actually spending time with each other, you know, being intentional. And we were both talking to each other. I'm going to tell you how in sync me and my wife are, bro. We were both talking to each other, and we were both on our phone sending text messages to somebody, right? Like, but talking to each other, right? Both keeping up.
Right.
And then simultaneously, bro, we both put our phone down and just looked at each other. And we were like, we got to stop doing that. Like, we got to stop trying to do this, like trying to go through our phone and talk to each other. And then, you know what I mean? Not actually have a conversation. Like, because then, you know, when we go to say, okay, where are we on our marriage? And we go to have our marriage talk, you know, it's still going to be a thing. Oh, you know, on our phone, got to be intentional, man. But we had that moment and we laughed like it was so fire. Mm-hmm. Like we put the phone down, we just both start laughing. Like,
I love that for you guys.
You know what I mean?
love that for you guys.
it was just funny because it is a point, man. You can't be a good husband or a good wife and not talk to your spouse. You can't be a good father and not hang out with your kids. You can't be a good businessman and not do business. Everything you got to do got to be 120. So the phone has made everything go in warp speed. And I think due to the fact that you grew up with the house phone, you grew up realizing that you have a brain and imagination. And I grew up in the South where we are a little behind. So, you know, my parents had a phone, but they didn't really care for phone. My parents barely knew how to work the phone when they first came out. Mm-hmm. So I never really, you know, my friends who had younger parents, they kind of got minutes on their phone when they got phones in like middle school, and they were able to get minutes on their phone. So they had a different experience with phones, but I think it's easier for me to disconnect with my phone because of how I grew up and because of how I view time and what I could be doing. Like I just feel like, you know, we might have had a little bit more structure in our brains as far as what we can do outside of technology. You know what I mean? Like go do something with your parents. I spent a lot of time with my mom's, sure. We used to get out when I got out of school, throughout middle school, you know, she had a phone. My friends had phones, but she would just take me to the gym. Mm. Like I knew when I got out of school, like I didn't have to call my mama to see if we was going to the gym. You know, I'm just saying, like, you know how parents, and I'm not knocking nobody, but you know how parents say, my baby got to have a phone because I got to know where my child is. Like I need to know where my baby is.
Yeah.
You know, and I get that, safety and protection and, you know, awareness of your child.
To some degree, but I think we're just being comfortable. We're being overly comfortable.
Thank you, bro. And bro, you just hit it on the head. Like you hit it on the head. I just think that me and my mama had a mutual understanding, and it's still that way to this day. She told me to get my butt in the house after I got that school bus. My butt is in the house when I got that school bus, and we going to the gym. Like, and I get it, you know. There's crazy people in the world, so whatever. I'm not arguing against that, but I do think that giving your child a phone it should be a cutoff age limit, and that's just me. You know, some people might argue with me, but I don't think a kid, you know, I don't know what age. I don't think a kid really needs a phone until middle school. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I got my daughter a cell phone. Yeah, she would have been in middle school, but I know like every parent's scenario is different, and you might have your reasons why you would want to do that. And I totally respect that. But, even now, like my daughter's 15 going on 16, I still try to encourage her to do to be mindful of like what she's doing with her cell phone, how often she's in there. And
listen, man, the kids, bro. One thing that we got that nobody else got, no animal on this earth, no creature, is a brain. The ability to think and create and be creative. So I just don't believe that it is necessary. I don't know, man. And maybe it's just me, but I like to say I'm a little old school in my way of thinking, and I'm not opposed to understanding new ideas and trying to change. But I just, as a kid, man, I just feel like you said on episode 1, you said that you ain't ready for that yet. That's what you told your son about certain things.
A lot of things.
You know what I mean? And for me, with the cell phone, these kids ain't ready for that yet. TikTok has taken the world by storm, right? Information is being fed to these kids so fast, and they don't even have the capacity to understand it or break it down or digest it, right? They're just doing it, right? They see something and they just do it. From elementary school all the way up into middle school, what a child sees and what he's told, for the majority of the part, they just receive the information. They don't have any ability to dissect it, break it down, and understand it. Nobody's taught them how to do that.
Right.
They just learn and go, okay? So that's my only thing, right? You give them a phone, I just feel like a kid needs to listen to his parents' instructions or her parents' instructions for as long as possible, right? Get some instruction, get some understanding of how things work. Because if you hear it from someone else's voice, you're going to start countering stuff. Now you're going to start going against ideals and this is how this is going with this. And I just don't think it's necessary.
Well, I think one of the things that you're really talking about, if you dig deep, is habits, right? Like you're forming habits. So if your habit is every single moment of your free time, you're, putting your face in your phone, when are you going to have time for self-reflection or to come up with ideas and be a creative person? And if you think about that, even the things that are going along with it, we spend more time outwardly projecting. And, some of the greatest minds were sitting home bored one day and they came up with an idea, right? Now, if that's taken away from you and every moment you're FaceTiming something, you're scrolling through something, you're looking up something, you're talking to Siri and whatever else, right? When are you going to have time to be creative? And what goes along with that is now they have these apps and these AI things that will go be creative for you. If you need a paper written, it'll write it for you. If you need to break up with your girlfriend, it'll write that text for you. If you need to create music now, you can just let the AI do it and say you did it. It just seems like we're now in a world that's like it's threatening creativity, and I don't know what that's about, but I kind of feel like that's what's at risk now, and it's kind of a scary place to be.
I mean, what you do repeatedly is who you are.
Yeah.
So what you do repeatedly is who you are, and that can be on a very, small scale, and it can also go to a very large scale. One thing that I hope that everyone does, and I can only speak from personal experience, I'm going to give full transparency here. If you have a habit as an adult of going home and having a drink, let's say you had a long day, you go home, you have a drink, and the drink makes you feel better, but the drink doesn't contribute to what you want to do with your health. You told yourself you wanted to work out. You told yourself you want to lose weight, but you have a cheeseburger and a beer. All right. That ain't got nothing to do with what you said you want to do from the jump. Okay. And I think in order to have effective habits, I'll say this, I think you got to begin with an end goal. And so what I'm saying is people don't know what they want. And that's why the cell phone plays a part. I got to bring it back one more time. That's why the cell phone plays a part, because it just gives people so many different ideas and avenues. And this person's a food influencer, and this person is shopping every day, and this person doing this. Your end goal gets so messed up. But if people, I just think the idea of people writing down and understanding who they are and being able to say no.
And I know we're not saying that like cell phone use is bad. Abolish cell phones. We use cell phones. We use the internet. We use Instagram. It's just, I think it's the new drug that no one is knowing to be mindful of. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Like we're all getting sucked into it. And like, I remember, you know, when we as adults, or when I was a younger adult, you know, we were complaining about, you know, kids, the younger kids already being stuck in, you know, in those realms of like always facing the phone or video games. And now adults are just as bad. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's a little crazy, but you know, since you had, you know, when we talked earlier this week and you said, hey, let's talk about, you know, self-improvement, motivation, being able to, how did you phrase it? You said, I'm trying to remember exactly what you said.
Confident.
Yeah. And
I text you. I said, hold on. I got the text. I'm pulling it right now. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I said, I text you at 11 p.m. I'm sorry. I'm so rude for that.
You text me whenever you want. It's not a big deal. I'm sorry.
I said, I mentioned confident, which we could talk about forever, which we can. And we can talk about effective habits to help people win every day. Okay?
Effective habits, yeah. And that sent me down a rabbit hole. So you know your boy. Like I start, here I go on YouTube. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I went down this rabbit hole and I said, you know, like, I know what he's talking about. And I think you and I can all, you know, we can both share our stories on what that means to us. But as that coincided with what I just explained to you, I'm going through with my business, I started like really digging deep, and I go, okay, how does this relate to me? Let me be honest about that. And I came across this stat and it really kind of freaked me out. And it said something about like 95% of everything you do is a result of habit.
Woo!
And I was like, that's scary.
Listen,
that's scary. And, you know, so, but it also, again, like the way I am, I take things, I go, okay, I didn't like hearing, I'll be honest, I didn't like hearing that, because that tells me there's a lot of work to do. So you kind of hold a mirror up to yourself and you kind of go, how do I feel about that? Like, really, you know, because no one's going to ask me, you know, so do I care? And then so it went on, the video went on, and it was like, you should do things like you should do daily goal setting and daily orientation, right? And what that means is you go, okay, what do I want to accomplish today? And then you need to look at your day and then go, well, what did I do with that day? What did I do with the free time in that day? Did all of that get me one step closer to my bigger goal, or did I just kind of screw it all away? Right? And keep reassessing, keep being honest with yourself. And I go, you know, I do that, but I don't do a lot of that. I don't do that daily either. You know, I'm more the guy that looks at it after a couple of days, or how did the week turn out? And for me, that's really skewed because I'm always every week some sort of successful. So then I rationalize it. But if I honed it in and went day to day, I guarantee you there are days where I'm like, that didn't go well. And I've just learned to look at it, to give myself more time so I'm less efficient about it. But covering up, that's my ego. That's my own ego. You know what I mean? And so it kind of made me start to like really open my eyes a little bit and try to look for, I don't know, the honesty, because I do want to be better. I do want to, achieve my goals. And, I got a lot of things I need to be doing, man. A lot. So
I'll tell you, bro, be careful though in that area. And I'm saying be careful because as humans, and from my personal experience of failing to get a consistent habit and going back at it again and then failing. And let's just take weight loss, for example. Let's just say I worked out 4 days a week, right? But and I know the huge part of losing weight is diet. Okay. Let's just say I worked out, I ate okay. But then I didn't lose no weight. Was that a win or did I lose that day?
I would say, what I would say now, today, I wouldn't have said this before, is if you didn't lose any weight, you're probably looking at the wrong metric. You're not looking at, did you create a new habit that's going to benefit you
there we go.
longer?
You're on track. There we go. That's what I wanted to get at.
And, or maybe you didn't lose any pounds this week. Did you lose any inches? Did you eat properly? That's going to, like, you don't see those things right away, like the positive effect it's having on your body or your mental health and those sorts of things. So, I would say sometimes you have to have a broader look at what you're doing and not just expect that one thing to happen.
Man, I wasn't expecting you to answer that well, but and what that I was hinting at and what I'm leaning towards is, instead of viewing it as a task, instead of viewing it as hitting your goals every day, if you truly want that for yourself, okay, if you truly believe that this is the person you're meant to be, okay, just like when you're comfortable and you come home and you sit down and you say, well, it's time for me to shut it down, or I'm going to take the day off and take a nap. Mm-hmm. Doing that consistently makes you a lazy person. Okay, so those are the habits of a lazy individual, correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
In order for you to get the habits and start being the person you want to be, instead of looking at it as a bunch of little goals, you need to view it as a transformation of your mind. Okay, your mind literally has to go from, I'm doing this and I'm working on myself, mm-hmm. as in I'm doing this because this is who I am and this is who I want to be. Okay, your habits change naturally when you start saying, this is who I am. A lazy person is not who I am. A person with no motivation is not who I am.
Right.
And I'm just saying from a base level. Like,
no, you're right. There were times like the scale don't move, and I've had that happen, right? In fact, I've seen it for me. Sometimes, depending on the kinds of workouts that I'm doing, the scale will go up because I'm gaining muscle before mm-hmm. it starts coming down and I can actually see fat loss. So, but what I do notice is the new habit would be is I got up, I'm busy, I have a long day, I actually don't have time to work out, and I'm going, I need to work out. I really want to work out. I feel weird if I don't work out. I just changed the habit, right? That's a part of a win, right? That's a scalable win. It doesn't matter what the actual weight scale says, right? That's a part of, that's what you're speaking to.
And that's why you got to make it. It's so important to understand your process, man. I tell people all the freaking time, man, your process is the most important thing outside of your relationship with, if you're spiritual, whatever, but your process, you have to be so deeply in love with it that you don't really care about results. I'm saying you're doing it for the results, but you got to love what you're doing so much that getting results or not getting results don't sway you either way. Because when you don't get results, then you want to quit. But if you get results, then you get comfortable and you get lax and everything you did go out the window. You know what I mean? People got to get into a habit, right, of just committing to their life. I hate to say it like that. It's so tacky. I feel like I just feel like saying it like that is tacky. But in this, in this world we live in, unfortunately, opinions affect a lot of folks.
Right.
And how you think and view yourself. You posted something the other day that I think is so deep. In your mind, and I'm not saying that quote for quote, you said in your head, you view yourself one way, but nobody else views you in the way that you view yourself. Everybody else in the world has a different perspective of who you are. So whatever you thinking negatively about yourself ain't that deep, and whatever you thinking positively about yourself ain't that deep.
Yeah.
Like it ain't never. So you thinking something that ain't even. It's not even for real.
Yeah. You might be crucifying yourself for something that ain't even really going on.
It ain't even going on.
Yeah.
So just do what you said you was going to do. You say that's who you are. You say you want to be that guy. You want to lift weights. You want to be skinny. But yet you being swayed by not getting results. Or you being swayed by somebody telling you to do something else. Oh, just commit to what you say you're going to do. And that just takes practice. All right. It takes being uncomfortable, man. Like you said, some days, man.
But I mean, that goes so much deeper though, because, you're using the example of weight loss. Let's say in my case, you want to apply that to business, right? You're doing all the right things, right? Like, folks, we have not made a single penny off this podcast, right? I don't know if we ever will.
Don't want to.
But I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah.
But that's not the point though. We would do this for free forever, right? Because we find a way to do it because it's something that is on our hearts. Now we created the habit of we make sure we record on specific days of the week. Mm-hmm. We make sure we do our research in a specific way, and that we come together in a specific way. And that has become a habit for us, and so if the byproduct of that is people are tuning in, which we won't, if at some point this becomes something we can monetize, that would be great, but we're not doing it for those reasons. That's not the metric we're doing this for. So when you apply that to business, like I just said, I'm trying some new business ventures, some new ways of trying to drum up business, and it's not working out, right? However, if I hang my hat on that and go, I've been doing this for 2 weeks, ain't made me no money, I'ma quit. Well, what happens in week 3 or 4 if it starts to pan out? I'll never know if I quit today, right? Am I on the right track? Is something happening? For instance, is someone answering me back in an email, regardless if that person wanted to do business or not? Did I get a contact with someone that I hadn't had before?
That's a win.
That's a win.
Win.
You know what I mean? So I try to look at things like that. And again, Trevay sent me down this rabbit hole of things successful people do. And, regardless of, if there's any tangible things that they're seeing right away, they do these things to create the habits. And that was, like I said, daily goal setting and daily orientation, being results oriented. So always looking at what the results are, be people oriented, talk to people. That was a hard one for me. I'm kind of a lone wolf. I had to literally learn to say, hey, go say hi to that person. Ask them how their day was. Get to know that person. Maybe that person, wants to, they like you and they want to do business with you.
You trying to synergize.
Right. And even you and I getting together, right? Like I could have always showed up and just been like, oh, hey, Trevay. Yep. Can you get me that drink? Okay, cool. That's it. Peace out. Right. Eventually we started talking. Eventually it got pitched that we should probably do something together. Either one of us could have been like,
yeah.
Right. So like, that's an example of that. Be health orientated, eat right, eat less, eat good, exercise, self-discipline, make yourself do what you should when you need to do it. That's the hard one.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. But that's how you learn. You got to say, I need to go exercise. I need to go send this email. I need to go talk to this person, those sorts of things. And make yourself do it. Over time, it won't become so hard. Don't focus on things you can't change. Be proactive versus reactive, right? A lot of times we complain, oh, you know, I don't know. I don't like my job because, you know, they don't pay me as much, whatever it is. You know, why are you trying to change the company and tell them to pay you more and you know they won't, instead of saying, while I'm here, I'm going to learn a skill so that I can either leave or I can prove to them I'm worthy of more money, versus just sitting there and complaining, oh my God, I come here, they don't pay me. So many of us do things like that.
It's
right?
easy to do because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
It's easy to react to something you have been giving negatively. It's so easy to say, well, it's that person's fault that I'm not where I want to be, as opposed to using your brain, using your mind, and thinking out of the situation or thinking through the situation, right? And just elevating your life, man. I swear, man, proactivity is so underrated.
It's so underrated, for real. Yeah.
The person, you know who's the person that gets it accomplished is the person that gets it done no matter how he feels. So you might have one person that say, I don't feel like being here today. You may have one person that's feeling a little lazy. And you may have one person that's giving a lot more than they usually ever give, right? And that person could ruin everything by just being like, they not doing that, so I'm not going to do nothing. That ruins the work model. Now that person not getting their food, now those drinks are late, just because you were reactive to your what was going around you, instead of, and I keep this all the time, instead of controlling your emotions and going, you know what, I can't control how they feel. I can't control what they just said. But what I'm going to do is what my job is at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It's, man, being proactive is so underrated, bro. Because it just, when I hear proactive, all I hear is, I'm not going to let you affect how I feel and how I go about my thoughts and my process. That's all I think. That's all I think. You've been given
or just focusing on the wrong things. If we tend to focus on things that we can't change, for instance, I got to leave for work at 7:00. And every time I leave, there's traffic on the freeway at 7:00. Well, you can't change traffic on the freeway at 7:00. But what you could do is you could leave earlier, so you're not so affected by traffic.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you don't want to hear that.
And sometimes that's the difference of, you know, as someone who used to drive for a living, sometimes traffic is the difference of 5 to 10 minutes. Like, I've had times where I leave literally 5 to 10 minutes. It's almost like there's no one on the road with me. Right? Like, literally. And I used to have to drive 40 miles to take my son to school, you know, when it was a custody situation, to take him down the street, whatever. And if I left 10 minutes later, I caught every light. I was behind 1,000 cars, and it just took me forever. Versus literally 10 minutes earlier, and it's no one on the street because no one left yet. And I'm sitting there and I'm like picking up my nails until he come into the car about 10 minutes early, you know, 15 minutes early, whatever it is. And what that ended up being, it meant nothing to me except for the fact that I wasn't under the gun and I had a smooth drive. And so when I see him, I'm like, hey, son, how you doing? I'm not even tripping.
Yeah, but you get in traffic. Now you in your head.
Now you in your head. Now you're like, man, I came all this way. It's all this traffic. And what you mean you don't want this for breakfast? And that, like, I'm, you know, it just kind of takes you there, right? It kind of takes you there. So, like, control what you can control, and you find out that things just kind of get a little smoother. At least that's what's worked for me. You know, the other thing that I read about things successful people do is think of how you want to be remembered.
Man, that's dude, man, but that's like and not just how you want to be remembered, but, you know, I think how you affect people, those two go hand in hand.
Those go hand in hand, for sure.
The impression you leave on people and how they feel about you. And I do believe, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit, just a little bit. I do feel like that's where, as a people pleaser, I struggle. Because sometimes I just want to be like, man, you know what, I'm about to cut. You know, sometimes you just want to cut ties, but I guess it's speaking in terms of make sure your impression is felt on this person and that they know that you are a positive impact on how they feel. But man, as devil's advocate, some people just be jacked up.
Yeah.
Some people just be rude. You know what I mean? Some people just be trying to get to you, and that goes back to being reactive, of course. But some people are just in your face, and I gotta ask you, what do you do? When you're dealing with an unstuffable person, like what do you do when, you do want to leave a good impression on that person, but that person don't want nothing to do. You know what I mean?
You can't make everybody happy. You can't make everybody happy. Yeah, I'll give you a crazy example of something that happened to me. You probably will be shocked about it. So when I first started voice acting, I was in the industry 8 months or so. And I booked, have you ever heard of Resvani Motors?
Mm-mm.
So they're a custom car company. All right. Like they kind of give you, it's like they build like sports cars or whatever. And they have these, they're like high end cars. I think the baseline model is like $100K or something. So they came out with this new car called the Beast. All right. It's like this kind of racing looking car, whatever. And it gets a little like popular around, the rich folks, whatever. Chris Brown buys one. I do one of the commercials for it.
Oh, dope.
And they tell me, hey, I need a deep, raspy Batman voice, And so I'm like, the Beast.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And all that. Yeah. And like, doing the whole thing. It's like I'm the voice in this guy's head because like he's like a monster. He's like a beast in his head. And he's like a race car driver, and he's
fire.
Driving this track. And it's like, what does it say? Predatory instincts and like whatever, right? So it comes out. I'm proud of this, and I'm like, oh my God, I just worked for an exclusive car company. This is going to be big. And then I end up on TMZ.
Shut up,
bro. My friend from work calls me and he goes, hey man, I'm watching TMZ and I just heard you. And I go, what? You're on TMZ. I call my agent. You know anything about that? No, don't know nothing about it. I find the episode, and you know how they have a voiceover guy who like kind of introduces things in between, like in the show? I don't know if you remember like when they used to do that. Okay. So they used to have this voiceover guy who would like kind of comment on the video as it plays. So they were talking about Chris Brown pulling up in this car, and the voiceover guy was kind of talking to me. So like he was like answering things that I said in the voiceover for the commercial. So it was kind of like he was going back and forth with me, even though it wasn't me. I mean, it was me, but like I wasn't there.
Conversation.
Yeah. And so it was like a short clip. So that's the reason why I didn't get paid for it. It was like, I think they used maybe about 10 seconds of it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh snap, I'm on TMZ. So I say all of this to say is at some point I look on the YouTube page where the commercial is, and people are like, yo, what's wrong with this guy's voice? He sounds like he needs a lozenge, like his voice is all, just kind of like saying whatever. Yeah. It's a handful of people. And it's just kind of funny to me because, bro, I got paid thousands of dollars to do something that took me 20 minutes, and I ended up on TMZ, and I'm doing what I love for a living, and someone still had something bad to say about it. And the client was happy. TMZ obviously liked it because they wanted to use it. I was happy with it. So what's the problem?
Wow. Comment. People out, man.
You can't make everybody happy. That's my point.
You asked for that.
So I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. You do what's good for you. You do what's good for, for whatever you're serving, And
don't worry about the rest. Don't
worry about the rest. You can't,
in your head.
You ain't for everybody, and that's okay.
And the people that need to remember you as the man that did that fire commercial gonna remember you as that. You don't even want no cats that's talking crazy.
Look, bro, that time period, I needed that, right? The sacrifice I gave, I left my job. I was going through a divorce. I was a single parent. I had to move back in with my parents for a little while to get that kind of elevation at that time. That solidified me being a voice actor. That went way further than money for me.
Yeah.
So some little comment on YouTube to some guys sitting behind a keyboard just trying to troll means nothing to me.
Ain't gonna sway you either way.
Ain't gonna sway.
And who cares, man? Like, people on the internet, man, that's why I try my best. I'm gonna say I do not. I try my best not even to look at the comment section, bro. Because people are just saying what they feel, no personal experience on the situation or what's going on, and they have no type of knowledge in that arena. Okay. None of them are voice actors, right? They probably all sound horrible, quite frankly.
Who knows?
You know what I mean? And so I would have to say that if you really, really, really want to stay focused and locked in, get out the comment section, let people get out your ear, and you have to surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you and boost you up, even though you need some constructive criticism.
Right.
Just be careful of who's around you, who's in your room, man. Because yeah, man.
What are you doing for you? What are you doing for you? Not trying to affect someone else.
Man, people is trip, boy. People try to throw you off, boy, and be thinking that. And there'll be main people that really think that what they saying is true, though. That's what be blowing my mind. They be like, "Oh,
yeah,
whatever I say is that's word, that's law."
Well, we all got our things we got to focus on. If you pay attention to everybody else, it's gonna be really hard to be successful. So
it's gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said, how do you want to be remembered? Right? Yep. How do you want? Are you gonna be the person that sat there and commented on everything and always had something to say, or do you want to be a person that made a difference?
There you go. I think we can end it with that. To be honest, that was beautiful right there.
There we go.
That was beautiful. So real quick before we get out of here, Treve, just a little house cleaning. Look, we're a couple episodes in. The podcast is growing. The numbers are climbing. Treve and I can't be prouder of what we're just beginning to do. We appreciate every single one of you guys who we've been able to either personally talk to or send messages that are reaching out.
Shame on you. Shame on you if you listen to this podcast and you ain't told at least 5 people about it. He's trying to be loving and kind. Shame on you. You know we fire. You know we got that heat. Shame on you. I'm sorry.
All we asking is share it with someone you know. You know, if you can. At the very least, you see us on Spotify, subscribe for us. That'll help us a lot with the algorithm. You see us on Instagram, subscribe for us. You know, follow us, I should say, on Instagram. If you haven't already found us on Instagram, it's rtb.podcast. Raising the bar we are. So, you know, look out for us. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep this going as long as we can.
I'm not with his energy. No. You should have already told 10 people. If you heard it one time, you should have already told 10 people.
That's it. That's it. Every Wednesdays for the rest of our lives. We out of here.
Yes, sir. Oh, man. Good. Yes, sir.